Speaking of Michael Borky, let's go through a quick little activity.
This is hard to believe.
The drive chart, and I'm actually going to back it up one series. He suggested that we look at the drive chart for Mississippi State in the second half. I'm actually going to take it to the last drive of the first half because Mississippi State, with 6:10 left in the second quarter, was trailing 28-3.
Right.
In its 100-plus year football history, never, not one time, had Mississippi State overcome a 25-point deficit to walk out of a stadium with a win. So starting with its final possession of the first half, Mississippi State goes 10 plays, 75 yards in 4 minutes and 15 seconds to get on the board to make it 28-10 at the half. By the way, Auburn did what? Would they miss a field goal right before halftime? Is that right?
Yeah. Yes. Big play by Nathan Pickering to get a sack on that and push them out of field goal range.
So it could have been 31-10 going into the locker room, but instead it was 28-10 at the half.
Right.
Auburn got the ball first in the second half. Is that correct?
No, State got the ball first.
I'm sorry, not good math. I'm looking at the time at which they scored. All right, Mississippi State gets the ball to start the second half. They go 7 plays, 75 yards, 3 minutes and 35 seconds, and a touchdown, 28-17.
Mm-hmm.
Mississippi State's next drive, 98 yards in 10 plays, 5 minutes and 6 seconds. We got a ball game. It's 28-23.
Right, went for 2 and didn't get it.
With 13:28 to go in the fourth quarter, Mississippi State scored again at the end of a 6-play, 72-yard drive. This was a short one, only lasted 2 minutes and 45 seconds. Bulldogs 29, Auburn 28. Another 2-point conversion failed.
Yep.
Next drive for Mississippi State. 5 plays, 55 yards, 2.5 minutes, touchdown. 36-28 Bulldogs. Next drive, Mississippi State. 4 plays, 45 yards, 2 minutes, 59 seconds. Touchdown.
That's after
Mississippi State 43, Auburn 28. Auburn adds a late touchdown to make it 43-34, and that was the final.
You want to hear a stat?
Yes.
This is incredible. This is courtesy of everybody's favorite message board over there on Six Pack Speak. So right now, Will Rogers in 19 career games has 646 pass completions. If he continues at the rate he currently plays,
attempts, not completions.
Completions. He's averaging 34 complete for his career. He is averaging 34 completions a game.
Okay.
So if he keeps that rate, he'll be at 748 after the bowl game, which would tie him for 13th in SEC history with Bo Wallace. If he continues that rate next season, around Game 5 in 27 career games, he'll be the all-time leader in SEC history of career completions.
Raid that air, baby.
I'm just going to put this out here. I'm going to have none of anybody taking any credit for talking about how great Will Rogers' career passing numbers are going to be, because the first place publicly you heard anybody, no message boards, no Twitter, certainly not on the radio and certainly not on television, anybody talk about Will Rogers and career passing numbers came not from Brian Haydad on Sports Talk Mississippi, came from me. We did the math in week 2 when I said, what if Will Rogers becomes a good quarterback for Mike Leach? What if he starts this year and 3 more because he gets a COVID year? You know what he's going to be? He's going to be the all-time leading passer in NCAA history if he stays healthy and he plays 4 years on top of what he had last year as a freshman. I was the first, hey, Dad.
Let me expound upon this, by the way. Right now, this season, Rogers is completing 40.7 passes per game. If he again, this is from the six-pack message board. If he keeps that pace, he'd finish his career with 2,000, assuming he played out through his COVID year, like you're saying, 2,355 career completions. The NCAA career record for attempts is 2,436.
Wow.
He would finish a full 800 completions ahead of our boy Timmy Chang in terms of completions if he plays like this for the next 3 years. Just
and
incredible.
if he plays this way for the next 3 years, Mississippi State's going to win a lot of football games.
Win a lot of games. This is it. This is the air raid offense.
If he plays like this for 2 more years, there won't be a third.
There won't be a third. This is the air raid offense. We're seeing it now. It's here. It's happening. This is what it's going to be going forward. There will be some down days. There'll be some days where offensively things aren't clicking. But this is what Mississippi State's going to look like under Mike Leach. They got a great deep receiving core. They have a great young quarterback. They got, the offensive line is playing at a good high level right now. Their running backs are weapons in the passing game. What can you complain about offensively for this team right this second?
Here's what I think you're entering at Mississippi State. And you may say I'm underselling it, but I don't think I am. I think you are entering an era. This year, maybe not. We'll see. We'll see how it shakes out. But you are entering an era where Mississippi State's going to win 9 games every year. I don't think they're going to be talented to be in the 10, 11, 12 range. I think they're going to be some buzzsaws. And I think Mike Leach's career shows you that there is like a clunker that's mixed in. It's going to be a lot of wins. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch.
One thing I want to talk about before we go to the break, because I know people want to get my thoughts on officiating. There were a couple controversial calls. The one on Rodgers where T.D. Moultrie was called for targeting specifically. I know that Jordan Rodgers and I don't know who was doing the play-by-play. I'm sorry.
It was Bob Wischusen.
Okay.
By the way, there was a big announcer shuffle on Saturday.
Yeah, Jordan Rodgers wasn't doing the SEC Network game. It was weird.
Well, and it was because Todd Blackledge had something happen. I don't know if it was COVID or something else. And so Todd Blackledge got pulled off the game with McDonough. Orlovsky got moved up to that game. Jordan Rodgers got moved off the SEC Network Prime game to Wischusen, and then they moved Cole into the booth and replaced the sideline reporter on Saturday night.
So both of those guys didn't think it was targeting. Here's why I think it was. And I have total sympathy for T.D. Moultrie. I don't think he's trying to hurt anybody. And if Rodgers was 6'5", it wasn't targeting. But when you leave your feet and the first thing that hits your helmet is the other guy's helmet, you're going to get called for targeting 100% of the time. 100% of the time. That is, you left your feet and went helmet to helmet. If that's not targeting, nothing is. And I understand that Jordan Rodgers was talking about there has to be context to the rules. No. The rules are the rules.
Yeah.
I understand, that he wasn't trying to injure him. I understand it's unfortunate. But he hit him in the head with his helmet after he leapt into him. That's targeting. So, not the best day for the officials. It never is. But that is the correct call, and there's just no way around that.
Right call, wrong rule.
Yeah, exactly. If you got a problem with the rule, buddy, I'm on your side. But the call was correct.
Yeah, that hit should not get a player kicked out of a game. But that hit is perfectly fine with 15 yards and a first down. Yeah, I agree. I agree with that 100%, but unfortunately, it goes back to what we've been talking about for yellow card, red card. There it is. That's a yellow card targeting. But, I feel like I said, I feel bad for T.D. Moultrie, but it's the correct call. To the point where I was surprised they didn't call it on the field, and the booth had to do it. I was surprised by that.
I'm sorry, you got derailed. You were in the process of praising the officials?
It's the right call. They made the right call in this instance. There's no question about that.
Yeah, but Mississippi State was inevitably going to get screwed, right?
To see State get calls at Auburn is one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life. I couldn't believe, never mind the comeback. This is happening? I couldn't believe it. And I'll be honest with you. When State was down on the goal line with less than a minute to go, I thought State was going to score one for Cam Newton there. It's like, here it is. Here's the 50 burger for Cam. They didn't do it, though.
Well, we're going to bounce around. We're going to go to Ole Miss, Texas A&M next. Let me leave you with one, and then we're going to circle back to this. Jen Psaki, thank you. We're going to come back and get to more Mississippi State and Auburn later in the show this afternoon. Will Rogers, 44 of 55, 415 yards passing, 6 touchdowns, and no interceptions.
Good day at work.
Good enough to earn him SEC Offensive Player of the Week honors.
And Walter Camp National Player.